Well, people want to know some of the hot issues happening this year in the election. And I can tell you one issue that always seems to come up every election year, every year around election time is the Downtown Development Authority. And this is a made up entity. This is not an elected entity. They voted on whether or not to form the Downtown Development Authority, but the Downtown Development Authority has kind of been hijacked by a group of local people who are not, some of them don't even live inside the city limits of Woodland Park. All of them, every last one of them have their own agenda when it comes to the downtown area of Woodland Park. But I just heard some really pretty depressing news. I had heard about a brand new development that was going to go on that was really looking, they had gone and they had presented before city council, they had presented before the Downtown Development Authority, and it was a brand new like tap house and brewery, maybe with some different shops around it, that was going to go right in the center of town on Woodland Station. But because of selfishness, because of self-serving ideas, the Downtown Development Authority just became very, very hard to work with. Hey, just became very, very hard to work with. And so the developers of this new tap house that they were going to bring right downtown, it was going to have a beautiful view of the Pikes Peak, and it really looked like it was going to be top notch. I do know a few of the people that were involved in that, and one of them, the architect that was going to be involved in that, is a brilliant architect. He's a longtime friend of mine. He has an incredible place down in Colorado Springs. I've actually shot an entire documentary about his business down in the Springs. But he's on top of things. He's new. He's relevant as an architect. And because the Downtown Development Authority they continue to be just hard to work with. And people are beginning to recognize this. I know that different council members have different opinions on the Downtown Development Authority as an organization. And I have watched them from afar because there are some very evil people on that committee that are literally as selfish as they come when it comes to themselves and to better their things in Woodland Park, and they could care less about other developments in downtown. And I have watched these people over the years, and they continue to do the same thing over and over, and they continue to get the same result, making it hard for people to do business in downtown. And so once again, a great developer, a great team of people, a great plan, people who know Woodland Park, people who are involved in this community wanted to do something cool in downtown, and it gets shut down by the Downtown Development Authority. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is, rumor has it, they're going to still come to Woodland Park. They're just going to go outside of the downtown development area. They're going to go outside of the DDA, and they're still coming to Woodland Park. Now, this is not, I haven't confirmed these rumors, but I have it on pretty good authority that the tap house that was going to go in the center of town in one of the coolest locations is now going to go over by Goodwill and over behind the old Paradise Ranch facility. They're going to go outside, so it'll be up behind the Natural Grocers, kind of over in that area. This isn't going to bring business. This isn't going to bring walking business to the downtown area. So for all the downtown shops that thought there was going to be a really cool venue. They were going to be able to do outdoor stuff. Once again, the Downtown Development Authority, you know, run by the good old boys, is screwing up some cool developments that could have come to right there in downtown Woodland Park. I don't know. How much influence one city council member could have on maybe reining in the Downtown Development Authority. But if I'm elected in the city council, I know that anything that begins to go through that has to go through the downtown development, I am going to look at very closely and the reasonings behind why the Downtown Development Authority is so hard for people to do business unless you're part of their little club. And it sickens me because I realize we finally have some good developers. We have some people that have been in town. We have some people that are on this project that could have put a beautiful facility, a beautiful tap house right there in the middle of town that would have brought lots of business, that would have brought lots of walking traffic to our downtown area, has now been chased out of the downtown development area and is going to have to go in another area. And I'm super pumped that they decided to stick around and continue to move in and move into Woodland Park with their business. I hope that I can have some sort of help and influence in helping them, over the next year as they get this project underway. But it just sickens me to see what the Downtown Development Authority is doing over and over and over, So that's one reason why I'm looking to get involved in city council, is because some of these committees have been hijacked by people who don't even live in our town. And I think that there needs to be some change in those committees. There has been continual pushback against the DDA and city council, and it's been almost this back and forth to where nothing gets done. That property in the middle of town is cost us 2 years of a lawsuit, maybe even more than 2 years. It's cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees that you as a taxpayer are going to have to pay, as me as a taxpayer are going to have to pay. And the people that are getting rich off those lawyer fees, those people don't even live in this area. They're buddies with different people on the development authority. And it sickens me that this continues to happen. The fact that we had an awesome development that had a plan, they had a great strategy to be successful, is once again shut down by a little small club of individuals that are not even elected. They're not even elected people. They're appointed, and they've hijacked this Downtown Development Authority and once again have chased good developments out of downtown. And I'm glad. Again, I'm super pumped for this tap house. I'm super pumped that they've decided to still pursue it in Woodland Park. It just saddens me that this little made up entity in Downtown Development Authority has continued to chase good businesses out of town, and once again they do it again. So if you want to get involved, you can get involved in this year's election by signing a petition for me, or you can sign it for other council members that are out there looking for people to sign petitions. There's a couple of other guys running for council. There's there's 3 people right now that are going to be running for mayor, but maybe 2020 is the year that we can roll some of these good old boys off of council and get some fresh blood in there, maybe with some logical ideas, maybe with some better counsel to listen to the people of Woodland Park, but not allow these made up little committees that are just after tax money. And the Downtown Development Authority, let me tell you what it is. It is a committee. It is a legal loophole. is what it was created to create a legal loophole to give some tax incentives to businesses to come here. But now the money grubbing club that it has become, they don't want to give those tax incentives. They actually want to take more and more tax money from people in downtown. And I have spoken with multiple business owners in town that work on Main Street, that have businesses on Main Street. And it is not an easy place to do business because having to deal with the Downtown Development Authority. And so if you want to see some change in 2020, if you want to see some vision in 2020, maybe it's time for some new people. Maybe it's time for some people that aren't a part of the good old boys club to come in and put their hand in some of that stuff. So I'm still looking for a few signatures if you want to sign my petition to get on the ballot. But I'm going to start talking about these issues pretty heavily as they come to my attention. And trust me, they are going to come to my attention at lightning speed because people in Woodland Park know how to use social media to reach out to me. And I'm going to continue to talk about them. These would be things that I would try to look into if I became a council member in Woodland Park, is why is it that it's so hard for people and businesses to come to Woodland Park? Why is it that the Downtown Development Authority continues to chase good businesses out of town? And thank God for some folks that are going to continue to bring businesses into Woodland Park, even if they have to go outside the Downtown Development Authority.